Welcome back, YouTube. This is Jason, and we are ready for LY4 Settlement event. And so we just got back from defeating the White Lion yet again. We did get a lot of resources that we need. We did get that elusive Eye of the Cat, which we will definitely be making into a cat eye circlet. We do have some bone. If you remember right, we do have Adam and Eve both survived, and Adam using Fist and Tooth, Eve has the bone blade. We also have Zeus, who is our meat shield basically. He does have the bone axe. He has a full set of rawhide armor, and unfortunately during the showdown we did lose Athena, so Athena is our first death. But for right now, the survivors have returned, or at least the ones that are going to return. And so I've already gone ahead and erased the boxes for light and heavy, and we're going to go ahead and move them forward to survivors return. I've set up the settlement, as you can see. Gaining endeavors, and so we have 3 survivors that returned, so that alone will give us 3 endeavors. So here we go with the 3 endeavors. I'll put that on the board up here. And again, if you remember, we do have collective toil. Collective toil is going to give us right here. So collective toil is going to give us 1 endeavor for every 10 population. Okay, so we do have 15 population. Well, it'll be 14 as soon as we update the death count, but there's our extra endeavor. So we'll move on to update the timeline. And so we'll fill in the box for update the timeline, and we will go ahead and randomly pull out a settlement event. I've got all the settlement events right here, so I'll give it a good shuffle. And we'll go ahead and pull out the 9th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we get Dark Trader. This is the second time we've had Dark Trader. I believe we had that in the second lantern year. Alright, let me read you Dark Trader. So there it is. And so a corpulent man reclines on a chair carried on the backs of 4 cloaked men. He offers to sell the settlement many amazing treasures. Each item may be purchased once. So we've got the strange brew, which only on a 10 will it really give you anything good. You got the pink stone, which is not bad. It could give you a founding stone. And then you got the shiny, sexy jeweled thong, which again, only on a 10 does it really give you any benefits. So maybe the founding stone is something we would like to have. Let me put this off to the side for right now. And the other one we have is Nemesis Encounter, the Butcher, level 1. So what that means is when we're departing, we're actually going to be departing to fight the Butcher. Actually, we don't depart. He comes and attacks our village and we defend it. So that is our settlement events. Not bad. There's a lot of bad settlement events. There's some good ones. So if you get a throwaway one like Dark Trader, I'm not going to complain about it. Alright, update the death count. So we're going to go ahead and erase the 15, and we'll put 14 population. We fill in our first death, which means we will be reading Principal Death in a second, and we have to say goodbye to Athena. Very sad. Our first death. So let me go ahead and break out the rule book and turn to Principal Death. Okay. The group must decide what to do with their first survivor corpse. Okay. So we could do the first harvest or the first grave. And if you guys remember, I mean, I always choose graves. I like getting the endeavors versus getting the resources from the dead survivors. However, for this campaign, I am going to go ahead and make that random. And so that will be the first grave. 1 through 5 was here. 6 through 10 was here. I rolled an 8. So we will be doing graves for this campaign. The settlement decides to build a small monument to mark the loss of Athena. The settlement gains the death principle graves. Find and place the card on the settlement board and note it on the settlement record sheet. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay. After adding the card to the settlement, roll a d10. So let's look at this card. So the graves card states all new survivors gain +1 understanding. So when they're born, they get a +1 understanding. Or when we gain them. It doesn't say born. It says when we gain a new survivor. When a survivor dies during the hunt or showdown, we get 2 endeavors. And when a survivor dies during the settlement phase, we get 1 endeavor. So that's going to help us out with endeavors. We already have collective toil, so it looks like we're going to be swimming in endeavors. If we get Tinkerer for our characters, then my goodness, we'll have tons of endeavors. After adding the card of settlement, roll a d10. So here's the d10, and it's a 4. The settlement gathers around the grave, each taking a moment to reflect the loss and their place in the darkness. All departing survivors gain a survival and an understanding. Okay, so we'll deal with that when we're actually leaving and departing. And we'll prepare departing survivors before we actually go. I'm going to put a couple dice on prepare departing survivors so we remember the +1 survival and +1 understanding. Okay, so that takes care of our first death. Athena is now in the ground with a monument to remember her by. Check the milestones, and so looking at all the special milestones for all the special cards added through the expansions and the white boxes and all, there are no milestones that we met. We did reach the death one. And so now we get to roll twice on intimacy, thanks to Protect the Young. We get to collect extra endeavors for every 10 population, thanks to Collective Toil. And for graves, we get extra endeavors when our survivors die. Okay, so we'll move on to the next, which is develop. And the first thing I always do is innovate. If I can innovate, I will innovate. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll take an endeavor, and we'll take 3 basic resources: the monster organ, the monster hide, and the monster bone. Put those back and archive them back in the box. And because we have Symposium, which is up here, for those of you who can't see, we have language in Symposium, Hovel, and Paint. But with Symposium, we actually get to draw 4 innovations and keep one of them. So here we go. 1, pictograph. 2, family. Partnership. And sculpture. Okay. Well, let's take a look. What does sculpture give us? Sculpture has one of us create a fighting art sculpture, and then on a 6+, one of our other characters can actually gain that fighting art. Not bad, except for we don't have a lot of good fighting arts right now. Partnership. Nominate 2 survivors. They pair off. They gain the partner ability. When you both arrive, gain survival up to the survival limit. Partners may only nominate each other for intimacy. When a partner dies, you get a random disorder. And then we have this Let me show it to you. So there's the special card where for partners you can get devoted union, which helps you when you're both attacking. And then you've got enduring legacy. And enduring legacy is where your children get to actually inherit a positive trait from each of their parents, 1 point of a positive trait attribute, and 1 fighting art from among their parents. And if you have 3 kids, then the family's complete and the couple retire and they stop having children forever. And so Enduring Legacy is awesome. You get that positive point attribute. So that might not be a bad thing other than the fact that it takes 2 endeavors to partner up. So maybe we'll take that, maybe not. You've got family. So departing survivors gain +1 survival. That's pretty important right now. But you can give yourself a surname, and the newborn inherits the surname of the parent, and you get their weapon type and half of their weapon proficiency rounded down. So that'll give you a head start on weapon proficiency. And then you've got pictographs. So what pictographs does, it allows you to run away. And running away is not as easy as you think. Pictograph allows that. There are some hunt events that that pictographs is going to help you with. I think right now, we're just starting out. It would be nice to have somebody pick up weapon proficiencies, but I think I want some variety in weapons. So I actually think family is going to give me a survival when I depart, and I'm only getting 1 survival right now when I depart, so that's pretty rough. I mean, my max limit is 4, but I'm only getting 1. Partnership isn't bad. I'm going to have to go with family. So I'm going to have to go with family only because it gives you the 1 survival upon departure. And I am desperately in need of that. So let's put these back in the invasion deck. We'll take family. Let me record that down. Okay, and upon departure, we all get 2 survival. I'll put family up here. And then it says add family consequences to the deck. So, looks like that's Clan of Death. So that's also not bad. I didn't think about that. But Clan of Death is really an awesome card. So let's hope we pull that here pretty soon. So what Clan of Death does is it gives you +1 accuracy, +1 strength, and +1 evasion to all newborn survivors. So that is really awesome. We'll put that in the innovation deck. And now I'm very happy that I took family. So on the milestone story events, the settlement has 5 innovations. So we need to read the Hooded Knight story event. So let me open up the book, because I do have 5 innovations. And here it is. So that can't be good. Pools of blood. A couple of my survivors look like they're dead in the picture, so let's find out what happens with Hooded Knight. So a stranger emerges from the darkness. Okay? If any survivor has the Twilight Sword, none of my survivors do, they duel the knight. Otherwise, his motives are inscrutable. Roll below on the mysterious agenda table. Okay, so let's put the dice box up there. And the mysterious agenda. Roll a d10. 2. That can't be good. As quickly as he arrived, the Hooded Knight vanishes in a flash of steel and blood. Suffer -2 population. Let's awesome. I had just lost a person. Now I've lost 3 total. Okay. And we'll just take 2 no-name survivors. I'm just writing that they died and why. Okay. And of course, with those deaths, since it was during the settlement phase, we're going to get 2 more endeavors. So I'll put that on our endeavor stack. And that's from graves, of course. When a survivor dies during the settlement phase, gain an endeavor. Okay, the Hooded Knight leaves with unfinished business and will return later. So add Hooded Knight to the timeline 4 years from now. Okay, I've done that. And that was it. He comes, he kills a couple of my people, and then he takes off. That's one of those random settlement events that just wrecks you sometimes. Okay, and that should be it. So we got our innovation, which was family. We went ahead and pulled 2 more endeavors because 2 of our people died. And that is the end of that story event. Okay, so we're back to development. And so definitely going to do the cat eye circlet. The eye of the cat, there's only one of these. And the cat eye circlet is just a great piece of equipment. So there it is, cat eye circlet. So reveal the next 3 monster hit locations and put them back in any order. So we'll put that up here. And now we have a lot of resources. I think the iron and the broken lantern right here, we're going to go ahead and put off to the side. So what we can do is we are going to fight the butcher. So the butcher has a lot of bleed. He makes you bleed a lot. And so what I like to do is I need to get at least 1 bandages. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I would like to get 1 bandage. So we'll use this bit of questionable monster. And we'll grab a bandage. So what bandage does is, if you or somebody adjacent to you is bleeding, you can remove 2 of their bleeding tokens. So let's put that up there. We do have Golden Whiskers, which is a special item. We have Sinew, which is used to create bows, but let's look through here and see what we can do. We don't want stone noses. I think I'm good with that. We have basically a couple organs we can use. We can get another monster grease if we really want to. I do not have white lion fur, so very difficult to make white lion armor, which is what we were trying to go for with Adam. But there's no white fur I've got. So let's look down, and we could make a whisker harp. Sinew and bone. Another bow. No lion claws. Nothing really we can do with this. I mean, we like I said, we could make a whisker harp. Let me think about that. Having musical instruments sometimes is not the best. If you guys have ever played the game and rolled a 10 on the hunt table, you'll know what I'm talking about. We did get the bandages. We could make one more piece of armor, but it will end up being rawhide armor. So, with Athena dead, we're going to have to take out somebody else. And so I think I'm going to take out Thor. So if I'm going to take out Thor, I think I need a better weapon than the bone blade for Thor. And we can keep the bone blade on Thor. But I think I want to get another bone axe. So that's a bone and an organ. So let's do that. Bone and an organ. Let's get ourselves another bone axe. So there's our bone axe. And eventually I need to make some of these other settlement locations. Leather workers, 3 hide and an organ. I don't have that, even if I wanted to build that. 3 organs and a hide. I'm really running low on hide. I couldn't make the stone circle even if I wanted to. And the weapon crafter is 3 bone and a hide, so there's no way I could have made any of those anyways. And so my question is, do I keep what I have and try to, or do I grab a couple more monster greases? I hate wasting stuff on monster grease. I think I'm gonna keep the question mark. I think I'll build 1 monster grease with the whiskers. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the bone harp. So let's make a monster grease with that. Okay, so here's the monster grease. I think I'm going to keep the questionable bit. And I think I'm going to keep the great cat bone. Okay, so I wrote those down. And again, we're also keeping the iron and the broken lantern. So I place those resources back in the box. And now we have 5 beautiful endeavors. So I really kind of would like to see my characters gain insight, which means I could augury. Thor does have 1 hunt experience, even though he's never gone out. He got the 1 hunt experience, I think, from shared experience earlier. If I gave him another shared experience, I could give him his weapon proficiency right away. But I don't know if I want to do that. That makes him age quicker. So, yeah, I think that augury is probably our best bet. We could... Actually, I think I'm going to move the stone nose off of Zeus. I'll give that to Thor when we start moving these things around. We do have the catgut bow. I think Thor will keep the catgut bow and the axe. I think that's what we're going to do with Thor. I think the cat eye circlet, we're going to go ahead and give that to Adam. The monster grease we'll give to Thor because we want him up close and personal. And for bandages, I think we're going to give that to Adam also. So Adam's got the fist and tooth. So if Adam's running around trying to look at the hit location deck, and he's running around trying to bandage up people. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, we have a lot of endeavors. I guess we could have tried for the founding stone, though the butcher only has one critical hit location. So I think I'm going to forego that from the Dark Trader. And there is a chance that you don't get anything. Man, it's tempting though, isn't it? Let's do it. I'm going to do it. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Broken Lantern. And I'm going to get rid of the question marks, which is the questionable bit, leaving me with iron and the Great Cat Bones in storage. I'm going to use those 2 resources to go ahead and buy something from the Dark Trader. And we're going to roll a d10. Come on, d10, be good to me. Okay? So what I need for the founding stone is a 3 through 9. And I'll let Zeus buy it. So if it's a 10, Zeus also gets the immortal, or he will get the immortal disorder. So here we go. So that's a 7. So it is a founding stone. I think that was probably worth it. 2 resources for a founding stone. Let me know what you think, if you disagree with that. And I can give it to anybody. I think I will go ahead and give it to... Let's give it to Eve. So Eve's got the bone blade. I'm going to give her the founding stone. So she has a couple of weapons to use. And that'll be it for Dark Trader. Let's put that away. Okay, again, we have 5 endeavors. I think we're going to go ahead and we could try for intimacy. So let's do that. Okay, so we're going to have Thor, who's got 2 understanding. We're going to have him augury. So the first roll on augury. The survivor endeavors to glean the meaning of existence. Roll on the table, add +1 to your result if your understanding is 3 or higher. It's not, so here's the first endeavor. He'll roll, and he gets a 9. So a 9 on that is intimacy. Okay, so there's intimacy, and remember we do have family, and so family is going to allow the parents to pass on their weapon proficiency. So I've made this pattern deck from the extra patterns that come with some of the sets. Before starting your campaign, examine your pattern cards. Remove any pattern cards that require monsters not found in your campaign. Shuffle all remaining pattern cards to create the pattern deck. When a survivor reaches insight, the sudden shift in perspective is accompanied by a new idea. Draw a random pattern card from the pattern deck. Record it on your settlement record sheet. The settlement has access to the pattern for the rest of the campaign. Build from a pattern. Any patterns gained by the settlement may be crafted during the development step of the settlement phase. Spend the resources in the crafting recipe and ensure that all requirements of the crafting process are present. Then gain the gear. So, with Insight, which is what Thor just got, not only does he get Tinker because he got it during the settlement phase, but he's going to get a pattern. So, giving it a good shuffle. And we'll read it just to make sure we have the monsters resources we can actually get. The Tempered Dagger. So what we would need is sharpen with a wet founding stone in sweat and blood. Reform to create a more graceful, jointless design. You need a bone, a leather, a scrap, and a scrap dagger. Consult a disgruntled aesthete complaining about scrap dagger design. Combine marrow and scrap into a steaming slurry using scrap smelting. Beware of fumes. Soften scrap dagger in a slurry and fully reform. Sharpen with founding stone. Okay, so that's how you make that. Looks like you're going to need the ingredients, which is bone, leather, scrap, and a scrap dagger. You need to have scrap melting and you need to have a founding stone. So my settlement now has that design. And if I should happen to get all those ingredients and want to make a tempered dagger, I can. So we may think about that depending on how good that tempered dagger is. But of course we need a scrap dagger first, so that could be a goal of ours. Okay, so that is Insight for Thor. And we're still left with 4 endeavors. We could augury and try to get intimacy. We could share experience with some of our other characters, which may be the way to go. Just give them all 1 hunt experience. We could buy another stone nose, which maybe that's a good idea since Thor doesn't have any insanity. So we'll go ahead and buy 1 more stone nose. Okay, so there's the stone nose. We're going to put that on. So now Thor, Athena, and Zeus all have stone noses. Oh no, I pulled the stone nose off of Zeus. So now Adam, Eve, and Thor all have stone noses. Okay, and 3 more endeavors. I am guessing we can share the experience. I mean, I could augury and try to get more people. We could get Zeus some survival, but we're going to get 2, so he's going to be at max. It's looking like Eve has no survival. So let's go ahead and augury with Eve. Hopefully we can get her. Hopefully we can get her some survival. So here we go. That's a 9. That's intimacy. Population is never a bad thing. So I get to roll twice on the table. I am going to go ahead and choose. I'll choose Adam and Eve. Why not? So 2 rolls, it's a 7 and an 8. So they're both the same. The settlement gains +1 population. The male and female survivors share a deep bond and gain 10 survival each. So that's exactly what we needed. So Adam and Eve go up to our max, which is 4 survival. So that's excellent. Served our purposes anyways, and also gave us a population. So we're going to make that a male. We're going to give him a weapon proficiency of Fist and Tooth, level 1, because Adam's got 2 on Fist and Tooth. So his offspring inherits his weapon skill. So, perfect. Exactly what we wanted. That's great. And that offspring also has +1 understanding, thanks to Graves. Okay, so here we're sitting with 2 endeavors. I don't want to lose my iron, and so I don't want to augury and have to lose a resource. It's the only resource I have. I could share experience, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and give that to the 2 new babies that we just made this settlement phase, because they have a weapon proficiency already. So I'm going to give them a hunt experience to match up with that. Okay, so that's a long development phase. Prepare departing survivors. So here we are. Let me take Athena's sheet. and remove it because she is no longer with us. And I'll zoom over here and you can see my survivors. And I'll show you them one by one as I prepare them to depart. So the first one you're going to have is my newest survivor going out with us, which is Thor. So as you see, I gave Thor the bone axe, the monster grease that we just bought, and I moved the stone nose from Zeus to Thor because Zeus has 17 insanity. So I think he's good. Thor also has strategist. And so he'll be going out with us, hopefully living up to his name. We also have Eve. So Eve's going out with us again. She does have the -1 strength from Gaping Chest Wound. Gave her a stone nose. She has cloth leggings, the rawhide vest, the rawhide headband. The only place she doesn't have armor right now is on the arms. She's got the bone blade. I gave her the founding stone that we got off the Dark Trader. So she'll be going out with us. Okay, I have Adam. So Adam's got the start, I guess, of the White Lion armor. I'm giving him the cat eye circlet. The bandages, definitely need those when we're facing the butcher. And last is Zeus. So for Zeus, we have a full rawhide set. He has the axe. He's crazed. He's also got binge eating, which means he has to go out with the monster grease. And he has to consume whenever he's given the option. So I hope you enjoyed this. The next time that I record, it'll be a showdown with the butcher. So wish me luck. Hopefully we survive the butcher and we don't lose too much. I'm going to take these characters out. I think I can take the butcher. I've fought the butcher before. He's not an easy fight, but I think we've got a couple of axes. I think we've got the cat gut bow. I've got a fist and tooth person with the cat eye circlet. I do have bandages for his bleeding. I do have a leader so I can stand up when knocked down. We may be able to take him, but again, wish me luck. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.